Heyo, welcome in to CHGO Bets Daily, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app today and use promo code CHGO when you sign up. Welcome into Studio B of our CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. Alongside me is my partner in degeneracy, Cody Del Mendo. You can follow him on Twitter at Cody_CHGO. As Cody was mumbling and he was walking in, this is not gambling advice. This is just how we are gambling. And hey, we're trying to do the best to win our own money. So if you feel your own volition to take any of these bets, feel free to tail us and tag us at CHGO_bets or on our own personal Twitters. We're being produced today by Sarah. I was gonna say Fichtner, but I think I'm adding an N. It's Fichter.
Fichter, yeah.
Fichter, there we go.
It's German.
It's Fichter.
Fichter. Yeah.
And then, Sarah is a great producer, but I felt like I just missed our guy, Steven, so much that we had to have him in as a special guest. We're doing prop bets today for the Super Bowl. There's the only game in town. So welcome in ESPN Steve, our guy, Steven Nicholas. He is a DFS specialist. Specialist. Thank you. Specialist.
We'll go CHGO Steven from now on. How about that?
CHGO Steven. There you go. I like that. CHGO Steve. For the old ones. Yeah, we'll go Steven. I know you don't like it. But CHGO Steven. That could be your new Twitter handle, by the way, too. You can actually make a public Twitter and you can just do it at CHGO Steven.
You could be like Joey, our other producer, who's like en route to 1,000 followers.
There you go.
Joey 1K, yeah.
Joey
1K.
You could be
you could be Stevie 1K.
Stevie 1K, yeah.
That's kind of good. I could work with that.
And shout out to Connor and James for hanging out with us in the chat. Let's jump in to some player props and some just prop bets in general. It doesn't have to be on the players. I know Cody has, I think, a lean on the national anthem time in some way. There's a lot of
that market.
So what I think, at least for the regulated Illinois sportsbooks, the mobile sportsbooks, that the national anthem and Gatorade props are not
that one either. That one too
are not what's it called? They're not regulated. It's not an actual thing that that I think that is legal to gamble on, but the offshore markets do have them. And hey, you could bet on it with your buddies, right? I mean, hey, and two, I think if you find an edge or you find a little note on Twitter that says like blue, you could really screw your buddy over. And that's why I think, sportsbooks just aren't touching those things. Like, if someone who doesn't know the national anthem and is outside timing it, wherever the hell where is it at this year?
Arizona.
Maybe one of the PHNXers is just sitting out there underneath the stadium listening to sound check, and then is going to the family party and being like, all right, hey, I'm setting the line at 2:30, well knowing it's at 2:50 or 2:05 or whatever, and then just, becoming a millionaire like James Orlando is trying to this week. So I just think those two bets are not regulated. So that's why you're not seeing those on your actual, DraftKings Sportsbook, for example.
Okay. Well,
what legal props do you like? This is the best question.
Should we start with the fun ones first? I like tails plus 100. Tails never fails.
Okay.
Boom.
That's my exact reasoning. I put that bet. You get plus 100 too. Normally you're gonna get minus 110 odds on those. I saw plus 100. I'm like, this is a real 50-50.
Yeah.
They actually gave you the real odds. I'm taking it.
Wow.
And tails does in fact never fail.
Shout out to DraftKings Sportsbooks for having what's it called? Integrity. For not being scum and actually having normal odds on the coin flip.
Imagine putting $100 on this market. Like I don't have the bank account or the guts to put $100 on the heads or tails, but I'm gonna $5-10 on tails at plus 100.
Okay, where are you finding the plus? Where are you finding the coin flip? Just so people can find it, because I'm having a little bit of difficulty.
It's under
novelty props.
No.
Okay, coin toss.
Yeah.
Novelty prop, coin toss. And Steven, you did have an actual stat on this that I thought was interesting. I think you said the past 8 years, that a certain team has won and there's been a result. What was the exact stat?
Yeah. So the winner of the coin flip has gone on to lose the last 8 Super Bowls. So if you want to live bet the game right after the coin flip and say the Eagles win. Well, you already know the Chiefs are going to win based on those odds right there I just gave you. So you could go ahead and bet the Chiefs money line live right there if you're into that kind of thing. Really weird stat.
There is 2 under the coin flip odds where you're getting good odds on the coin flip at plus 100 on both heads and tails. There's Chiefs to win coin toss and win game. Eagles to win coin toss and win game. Yes for Chiefs is plus 300. Yes for Eagles is at plus 250. So if you think the Chiefs might buck the trend, maybe they score first. And I know you as a Mahomes backer like the Chiefs.
Wearing the shirt right now, guys.
There you go. Right here. The ugly color palette there. They pick neon green. Why? In this age?
I'm a big neon green guy. I think it looks good.
There's a big color palette out there, and they picked the color that reminds me most of stomach bile. Good for them. But yeah, hey, I think that at least that those 2 markets, if you think that trend might be bucked, 8 is a very, very long trend right there. That might be a decent market there. Anything else you guys want to touch in maybe the novelty section? You have one that's at 35 to 1, I know.
Yeah, so any offensive lineman to score 1 receiving touchdown at plus 3,500. We'll go with the narrative for Jason Kelce to score. I think Travis Kelce is like minus 130 to score or something in the game. So if both brothers score, then I might be convinced the NFL is scripted. So at plus 3,500, I like that idea. I like that fun. And then you compare that with any non-QB to have 1+ passing touchdown at plus 2,200 as well. Obviously, the Philly special, of course, different coach, different players, but they call it the Philly special because the Eagles did it back in 2018. I think it was Trey Burton to someone.
Trey Burton to Foles.
Yeah. Trey Burton to Nick Foles. But
don't worry, as a Patriots backer in those days, I remember that play very, very well.
Yeah. So
great. Thanks for bringing it up.
I think that it's.
You remember Steve Bartman? Jerk.
Jesus.
I gotta do this, Cody.
Are you even like a diehard? You're not even a diehard Patriots.
I was a very, very big Tom Brady fan.
Okay,
and then
Tom Brady fan is different from like team guy. Okay, like damn.
I was just messing with you. My bad.
That one hits the soul. That one hits the soul, man. All right. Anyway. Anyway. Yeah.
He shouldn't have lost to Nick Foles and Eli Manning twice.
I agree, but he did. So yeah, I like those 2. Those are like the juiciest ones. Just for fun too. You can get the Chiefs' first offensive play to be a pass at plus 110. Ooh. I think that's very it's not like plus 3,500 or anything like that, but at plus 110 for the Chiefs' first offensive play to be a pass, I think I was surprised to see that it was, at plus 110. I think if they get the ball first, I think they're going to come out slinging it, try to get on the board as fast as they can to set the tone of the game. So, yeah, I like that at plus 110. So those are the 4, I guess, novelty or fun ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and also I'm reading in the chat, James Orlando saying 50% boost from DraftKings. I got to check that out. Where's that at? I see the what's it called, the same game parlay boost, but I don't see any 50% boost from DraftKings just yet. They do have a power hour. I think it's starting at 5:00 and ends at 8:00. We've been able to pick up some great boosts so far there. I've gotten Miles Sanders or Jalen Hurts to score a rushing touchdown at plus 100. I think that's fantastic odds for both of those players down on the goal line. That's probably the 2 main guys that they're going to go to given the ball. I also got the Eagles to score first at plus 150. I know our guy Lawrence Benedetto got the Chiefs to score at plus 150. It's a score first. So that was yesterday's power hour. So make sure you are checking the DraftKings Sportsbook app and seeing what boosted odds they might be giving you today. Outside of, what certain players are sticking out to you, Steven?
Believe it or not, even though I'm backing the Chiefs, I'm really looking at Jalen Hurts' passing prop on Sunday. So it's actually already moved up. It was 238.5. It's moved up a yard today, so it's now 239.5. I'm going to take the over on that. He's only gone over this total in 7 to 17 games this season, including the playoffs. But Vegas is predicting a high-scoring game with 51 points as the over-under. Hurts has only played in 4 games this season that have had at least 51 total points scored. I think that this is going to be a passing game script for him and potentially one that he's trailing in, forcing him to not use his legs as much. I really like this prop.
What was the prop again? Exactly.
Passing yards.
Jalen Hurts passing yards over 239.5.
Okay.
It's up to 240 now.
Yeah, over.
And there you go. It just keeps going up. Get it early, guys.
And honestly, too, if you're playing that market, it is interesting looking at the odds for Jalen Hurts alternate passing yards, 250 minus 110. So you can basically get 9 yards for minus 115. So still, if you are going to take that, still take the over 240 because the odds and anything else really aren't in your favor. The under too, you'd think it'd be juice just because it was boosted from 239. It's at under is at minus 115. So really, if you're looking at sides odds wise, you're not really getting an edge either way. So I agree with you. Game script favors over for Jalen Hurts. Do you like passing touchdowns, or do you think it's just going to be, it's going to be necessary for them to move the ball through the air? Because Hurts over 1.5 passing touchdowns is at minus 105. So you're getting close to plus money, and we always love that. I mean, are you in favor of the passing touchdowns?
I actually am. It's going to go hand in hand with his passing props, obviously, his passing yardage props. I really think A.J. Brown has a good game here, too. We've seen a lot of Devontae Smith as of late, but this one just looks like a A.J. Brown game script with much smaller DBs. I feel like he's got at least 20 pounds on every single one of the defensive backs on the Kansas City Chiefs. I really like that matchup. Devontae Smith, different type of guy, smaller, maybe a little bit faster. A.J. Brown's more of the muscle, the 50-50 kind of guy, the 50-50 ball. So he's going to be my lean here. If Hurts does well, I think A.J. Brown's a big reason why.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to bet on the passing touchdowns, I'd probably bet on Jalen Hurts on the over at least. 2.5 for Mahomes. He certainly could do it, but the only reason that keeps me back on it is like they get creative down there. Sometimes they'll hand it off or they'll, run some weird, crazy play because Andy Reid is Andy Reid. So, yeah, if they get onto the goal line, I think they're more likely to run it than they are to pass it. But they easily can score from 20 yards out. Obviously, we know all about the Chiefs' offense. So, over 2.5 is asking for a lot. That's why it's a plus 175. So, yeah, if I were to touch any of these, I'd probably touch Jalen Hurts on the over for 1.5 passing touchdowns. But the only thing that kind of scares me about it is when they get down there inside the 10, they run it with Sanders or even with Hurts. And I think that with it's been a while since Hurts was hurt, and he, this kind of goes into my other props, but I kind of like Hurts going over on the rushing prop for this game because they've had 2 weeks to rest.
Right.
And
it's the Super Bowl.
Right.
You got enough rest coming up after this
it's
game.
The last game of the year. You can't hold anything back, and they haven't really used Hurts in the running game this postseason. I think they finally kind of let him loose and let him do that a little bit more. So I like Hurts going over 50.5 rushing. And so with that passing prop being 1.5, yeah, I could see him tossing one to Dallas Goedert like I have here at plus 150, and then maybe running the other one in because I think he does score a touchdown in this game too. That's the only thing that kind of scares me because of that. But with the game script of the over, like that's what we think is going to happen. You just never know sometimes because anytime these high totals come up, I feel like the under almost always hits. It feels like because then because coming in the game, everyone thinks these offenses are going to do something, and then the defenses kind of come out of nowhere.
I don't know. I mean,
especially the Eagles defense, I think is really good.
I think a lot of people are scared about that Rams Patriots game. But I really do think that I would tend to go over. I know this is less of a prop. But what you said 50 and 51.5, Stephen, was the over?
I saw it at 51 earlier.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, opened at 49.5.
I think both teams can score 30. And even though they're both good defenses, these offenses are too talented not to score in this game. I mean, look at the weapons that now the Chiefs are going to have. It's why I like Kadarius Toney to score a touchdown in this game. It's why I like Pacheco to score a touchdown in this game. I think, Mahomes can throw for 4 touchdowns by himself in this game, especially with his bum ankle. I do want to say there is a novelty prop. Any player to rush or have 3 receiving touchdowns is at plus 475. I would stay completely away from that market. Kelsey has the lowest odds to score 2 or more touchdowns at plus 475. So you're getting better odds for a player to score 2 touchdowns right there. And if you want to just call your shot on which player might score 2 or more touchdowns, you're going to get better odds than that plus 450. So stay away from that prop specifically. But Kadarius Toney to score a touchdown plus 230. Kenneth Gainwell to score at plus 300. I think he's really helpful, very quick out of the backfield, but also is very has been worked in a lot in this passing game in the playoffs. I like Gainwell to be used a ton in the red zone, so I think at plus 3-1, him to score a touchdown at any time is a great bet. And then Pacheco at plus 115. If Mahomes is truly hurt, I do think that they're going to have to try to rely on somebody to run the ball in, or at least provide that threat. And I think Pacheco has just been so clutch late in this season for the Chiefs. He's really come on into great form.
If you sorry, Steven. I was just going to say, he mentioned touchdown props. Obviously, Hurts, Kelsey, Sanders, they don't have really good odds. But I think it's worth parlaying Jalen Hurts and Travis Kelsey and get them both to score a touchdown at plus 280. I think that is that's where it's at right now if you were to parlay those 2 together. I also think a good idea is to take whoever you think is going to win. So, Steven, you think that the Chiefs are going to win. I think taking Chiefs money line and Travis Kelsey to score in a parlay is, if you think the Chiefs are going to win, I think that's a good bet, because I think if Travis Kelsey doesn't score in this game, I will be shocked. And then, like I said, if you believe in the Chiefs, then take the Chiefs. So I think you can take some of these props that don't necessarily have the greatest value and parlay it with who you think is going to win or something like that and get better value. So, because for me, like, you like Kadarius Toney. My thing with Kadarius Toney is, like, they're so inconsistent with using him, in my opinion. Like, he'll have a random good game and then he'll do nothing the week after. And then he's also been kind of hurt too.
Yeah, I mean, he was hurt in the last game, but even though that performance was inconsistent, I think he had 2 targets, 1 reception, 9 yards. That one target was a drop touchdown pass. Like, I had him to score a touchdown in the last game, and then he caught a pass and got injured on that play. So if he's healthy, he's just so dangerous. He's so quick. They have to have a play designed to get him open, right? That is the whole idea of Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, and Matt Nagy tried. That was the whole idea of the offense. And when it's clicking, and if he's healthy, I think even like if you could find Kadarius Toney he might even score first. That might be a good bet on its own. But him to score in the first half, I think that's a great bet, just because if he is healthy, he's going to be his healthiest at the start of the game before he's taking any hits. That's when he'll be his fastest. So I do think Toney is a necessary weapon in this offense, because you saw what Tyreek Hill did. For Mahomes, it's easy for him to hit guys down the field. Just run and catch it. As long as Toney, I think he's got the skill to do that. And big players and speed shows up in these type of games.
He certainly could do it. I don't know, with his with his health status right now. I just don't know.
He's playing, baby.
Yeah, it was an ankle injury. He said he's going to play. He also has the hamstring injuries earlier this year. Both of those injuries have high re-injury risks. I'm not a doctor or anything, but I'm going to take the safer guy. I've been looking a lot at Marquez Valdez-Scantling. MVS had his best game of the season this past week versus the Bengals. He went for 116 receiving yards. Him and Mahomes seem to have really developed a rapport throughout these playoffs. And just because of the uncertain injury risk here, but with not just Kadarius Toney, but also Juju Smith-Schuster, both of those players left the game. Add in the fact that Mecole Hardman is already out for this game. I'm going to take the guy who's healthiest. I'm going to look at MVS. His props aren't available yet, but I do love whatever the over is going to be on that, just because I know he's the healthy guy. I'm taking him both for props and for daily fantasy as well.
Yeah, you can get him at plus 225 to score.
I like it.
So, I said, I'm taking Goddard. I honestly think Goddard could score the first touchdown. It's at plus 1,200.
I got some good stats on that as well.
I think he scored the first touchdown for the Eagles the last 2 games. So, trend-wise, it looks cool. But, yeah, I mean, he's Everyone's talking about Travis Kelce coming to this game. I think Goddard can have just as good a game as Kelce. He's one of the more underrated players on their team.
I agree, and he's got a phenomenal matchup. Over the last 6 games, the Chiefs are allowing a 90% catch rate to opposing tight ends.
Jeez.
So if there's one thing they've been struggling at, it's that. Double up with that, and you could look at Dallas Goedert on a catch on his per receptions. His yards after catch this season is number 1 in the NFL among tight ends. So if he's going to have a 90% catch rate and he's going to get that many yards after catch, it seems like a pretty good combo to me. Right now, not too many props available, especially his receiving props. I didn't see those posted yet, but he's another one. I could see him coming in at like anywhere from 40 to 50 probably. I'm going to take the over on whatever that is.
Very nice. Yeah, great stats there. Him to score 2 touchdowns, 12-1 as well. And real quick, I mean, daily fantasy, do you want to explain just how you would or how you typically use DraftKings Sportsbook to build out DFS? I know we usually talk about the sportsbook side, but there is also the DraftKings Fantasy app. What's typically a DFS way to build out a lineup? Is there a free pool that we should be joining? What's the salary cap, and what would a Goddard cost? What would an MVS cost? How would you build out that lineup?
Yeah, so it's a little bit different for single game DFS. In this case, you have your captain seat. So the person in the captain seat is going to score 1.5 times his points. So if he scores 30 points, it would actually be 45 fantasy points. So you want to pick the guy right off the bat that you think has the best chance of scoring the most points. Obviously, they're going to be priced differently, so you want the best value in addition to the best output. In this game, it's really hard to not go with one of the quarterbacks. It's going to cost you the most. So then you need to try to kind of figure out, all right, who are some cheaper guys that I could pick up to counterbalance that and stay within this $60,000 salary cap? So some of those guys, Sky Moore's an interesting one. He's a rookie. He hasn't been used that much this year. But once again, if you look at the Chiefs' wide receiver injuries, maybe he has a chance at getting mixed in for some plays. Andy Reid likes scheming up a couple plays for Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore here and there. So that's a good one. Like I said, Dallas Goedert just looks really good for this game. I would take a real good look at that. So yeah, you kind of have to have a good mix of your core players, the ones that people expect, your chalk, so to speak, and then someone who's a little bit more flying under the radar, because to win one of these things, you can't be doing what everybody else is doing. You have to go against the grain a little bit. Yeah,
absolutely. No, I think that's great. I usually don't touch DFS, but I mean, it's a Super Bowl. You got to go all out for it, right? Yeah. I know you're a Mahomes guy. Is Mahomes the quarterback to take in this one, or would Hurts be valuable or more valuable because of the rushing?
That's a really good question. I do lean Mahomes because I think he does have to do a little bit more on his own this game because of some of these injuries, and he has to maybe run a little bit more than we expected, even with his high ankle sprain. I think that on Sunday when this game kicks off, Jalen Hurts will have higher ownership in the captain seat, which is something that you kind of want to look at and say, I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. If you're trying to win this thing, if you're in one of these big tournaments, right now there's a $15 DraftKings tournament, first place gets $1 million. If you're trying to win this thing and not just be a guy that makes, 20, 30 bucks on this, you got to do something that's different.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how are you going to be able to beat the normal and typical average lineup? You got to
find the diamond in the rough.
Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah. Kadarius Toney.
That's an interesting one too, though, just because he has fast. His usage is way up, but you also have to look at the game script these last couple of games for the Eagles. They really have not been challenged in the playoffs yet.
No.
This has been a cakewalk. They haven't really had that threat, and they've been able to go to a lot of backups in the second halves, and Kenneth Gainwell being one of them. He'll still get his touches in the first half. I don't want to diminish that, but people might be a little bit too high on him based on what they've seen the last 2 games. That might not be something that the Eagles necessarily planned for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that he has the he's just so fast. So I love players that like this in these types of games. You think of Devonta Freeman and his carry and just how dominant he was on the outside edge against the Patriots. James White, for the same reason, was so quick and good in space. I think Gainwell has that same possibility. You got to be able to get loose. You got to be able to get free. You mentioned Sky Moore. I mean, that guy has all the potential to get free and get loose.
It's why they. There you go.
It's why they the Chiefs were in such good position to get a personal foul and set up Bucker for an even better field goal. But yeah, it's there's so many angles. I don't know if you guys have any other angles you want to touch, but you got tails never fail, so I can't beat that logic.
We haven't talked about Super Bowl MVP, and like clearly it'll probably be Mahomes or Hurts depending on who wins the game. So if you want to bet it based off that, fine, but it's not as juicy and it's not as fun. But
Goddard,
Steven's high on MVS, and say MVS has that huge game like he predicts. Who knows? Plus 7,000 is pretty fun. I'm just saying. And, they have some defense guys on here, but I mean, I'm going to stay away from that. But just from some flyers, I think that MVS isn't a bad play, or, some of these other guys, AJ Brown at plus 1,800, maybe Miles Sanders, say he scores like 2 or 3 touchdowns out, and there's you can't predict what's going to happen, right? So, but at the end of the day, it's usually a quarterback, and Steven, if you're high on the Patriots, or not the Patriots, the what do you call it? The Chiefs. The Chiefs are like plus 105 right now to win to win this game. Oh, you could just take Patrick Mahomes to win MVP, and you'll get better odds because it's more likely that he's going to win Super Bowl MVP if the Chiefs win this game. So, agreed. Like that, if you want to look at it that way, you know what I mean? It's kind of the same thing for the Eagles. The Eagles are like plus or minus 120 on the money line. You can get Hurts at plus 125. It's wild how the Eagles are favorites, but you can get better odds on Jalen Hurts to win Super Bowl MVP than Patrick Mahomes. So that's kind of the way I look at it when it comes to this award. It more likely than not is usually the quarterback. So whoever you think wins, I take the quarterback in this situation.
And if you want to do it that way and you want to play it extremely safe, Cody, if you go into the novelty prop section on DraftKings Sportsbook, you could actually bet on the position of the MVP. So if you think it is either Hurts or Mahomes, you could do that. It's minus 650, so there's not much juice there.
There's no juice. When you say there's not much, there is no juice.
No juice.
I'm not some handicapper in Vegas, bro.
Yeah, that's all pulp, no juice. If you're gonna take a flyer on like an MVS, like I've been talking about, or maybe Dale Scott, or you get wide receiver, maybe AJ Brown at plus 650, tight ends plus 900. Everything other than that, I even running back, I'm not touching that. I can't see Pacheco or Sanders taking MVP here.
Yeah.
So if you want to bet on,
it just depends on like who scores the most touchdowns. Like if Sanders somehow scores 2 or 3 touchdowns, then like. And the only reason I could see a running back getting it is because of something like that. And if this is a high scoring game, like we all predict, and the Chiefs or the Eagles are inside the 10 a lot, all it takes is 1 or 2 nice 7-8 yard runs inside the 10, and you score. Like it's not too out there in my opinion. So.
Also a fun one too. I found this, and this has been around on DraftKings. Fastest ball carrier. So who will be the fastest timed player with speed?
Maybe your Gainwell.
Yeah, lowest odds plus 450 for Pacheco. Devonta Smith 6-1. Justin Watson 6.5 to 1. Tony 7-1. Sky Moore 7.5 to 1. Scalding 11 to 1. Sanders 12 to 1. Gainwell 12 to 1. Juju 13 to 1. Quez Watkins 14. AJ Brown 14. Hurts 14. McKinnon 15.
So this includes kick and punt returns then, which is probably going to be your best chance at breaking one.
Yeah,
it's an interesting one. I've never seen that prop before. That's a cool one.
Who hits top speed? I mean, Darius Slay's here. I mean, Darius Slay taking a pick would also count, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know who. I would probably stay away. I don't know enough. I don't think Justin Watson touches the ball enough. So maybe it's Sky Moore. I would say Sky Moore or probably Tony, just because I'm betting on Tony to score a touchdown.
Now, I just came across this on if you're in that Super Bowl specials market after the fastest ball carrier, you can go to passing props, and they have Hurts and Mahomes exact combined passing touchdowns, and 3 is at plus 350 and 4 is at plus 400. So we were just talking about the passing touchdown prop. I see Mahomes throwing 2 and I see Hurts throwing 1. You know, maybe if you think that if you think Hurts goes over exactly 4 plus 400, I think the value there is fun. At least I don't think it will be more than 4. So at at plus 400 to take a flyer on that, I think there's some decent value there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think someone dropped that in the sports betting chat as well.
Oh, really?
Nice. in the diehard Discord.
In the diehard Discord.
All right. Any final props, Steven, before we let you go and we end this show?
Yeah, take Patrick Mahomes over on his passing props. It's not on there right now, or maybe it's been put on while we've been talking. Chiefs have played 10 games this season, scoring 51 or more total points of both teams. Eagles, well, Jalen Hurts, I'll say, has only played 4. There's one team that's a little bit more accustomed to these situations. That's the Chiefs. Take Patrick Mahomes. Just ride that guy all the way to the top.
You're wearing the shirt, so you've already given him his money. So, it's not shocking that you're rolling with him. I don't know if we could bet NFL honors, but I'm not propped for that one or prep for that one. So back Mahomes is Steven's advice, but also some really great info there on Dallas Goedert, MVS. So make sure to tail Steven. He's, I think, got the biggest bankroll out of anybody I know. So Cody, I usually don't take gambling advice. I take Stevens a decent amount. You got any final picks?
Related to this game, I feel like we're probably going to give out our winner tomorrow, so I'll save it for then.
I've been giving out my winner since the line posted. Chiefs plus money. You said a better bet would be Mahomes to win Super Bowl MVP, right? Because it's at better odds than the Chiefs winning, and I think it was a great point. But I got a lot of Chiefs tickets, so I'm fine if the Chiefs win. And I'm going to keep betting it. Plus 100 for the Chiefs. They got the better quarterback. Let's go. But anyways, we'll talk about that tomorrow. Thank you, Stephen Nicholas, for joining us. CHGO Stephen, make that Twitter account. Thank you to Stare Up Ficta for producing the show. Thank you to Cody
Sean,
Delmendo.
have you paid the bills yet?
What's that?
Have you paid the bills yet?
Well, I mean, I gave DraftKings a lot of mention, and I could give it again. I mean, why not? Check out DraftKings Sportsbook, the sportsbook, and the sports betting partner of Super Bowl 57. They have all the Super Bowl action you need. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, all customers can get in on the Super Bowl 57 excitement with DraftKings Happy Hour Super Boost. Check out the DraftKings Sportsbook every day between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. Central Standard Time to see what prop bet will be boosted. Again, first team to score I got yesterday at plus 150 for the Eagles, and I got Jalen Hurts or Miles Sanders boosted to plus 100 to score a rushing touchdown during the happy hour. So make sure you are checking out the 3-hour-long happy hour on DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code CHGO. New customers can bet $5 on Super Bowl 57 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code CHGO. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Thank you again to CHGO Steven for joining us. Thank you to Sarah Ficta for producing this show. Thank you to everyone for hanging out with us. We're at 7 likes, so on your way out, please like it. I think 10 would be a record for CHGO Bets. Thank you to James, Connor, and Jordo for hanging out with us. It's Cody Demendo. You can follow him on Twitter at Cody_CHGO. You can follow the show at CHGO_Bets. I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. We'll talk to you tomorrow. We won't be millionaires then, but probably by the end of the Super Bowl, we will be.